Good morning. The time is 8 a.m. Weather conditions, cloudy, temperature 33 degrees.
Well, good morning, Wisconsin, and all of northeast Wisconsin, I guess, in general. It's 8 a.m. Time for the Good Morning Net. This is an open net to all licensed amateurs. This net meets daily on W9DOR repeater, located near Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, for the purpose of good fellowship and message handling. We also welcome all who are just listening and encourage anybody that is interested to get their license. Net control today is KA9BXG. I live near the town of Poland, Wisconsin. Question of the day. What was the longest you've been stuck at home because of weather related? Whether snow, rain, anything like that. So, I remember some days when I was a younger lad that we had some long periods that we didn't get out because of the snow. So, orders of check-ins is mobile and short time. Then we will go over to the ECHOLINK board. Please let us know if you're going to have one go or two goes. Please let us know right away so I can mark it down. This repeater has a 3-minute timer. Please keep the messages shorter than 3 minutes, and longer transmissions can be done at the end of the net. So, make sure that you let the repeater drop fully before you start your transmission. First up is priority traffic, any priority traffic. None. We will go to mobile stations, mobile or short time. Come now. A9ARZ. AB9NN, John and Eula. Quick bring you up the Supermon, and we only have two on here. Very surprising. K9GU and G1AEU. We will get back to you. So, RF stations, come now. This is Kilo Alpha Niner, Whiskey Alpha Romeo. W9OBB.
K9KMA.
K9 OSM. KD9UPE.
Kilo Delta 9 Golf Delta Alpha. I'll be in and out, but monitoring.
Net control. Kilo Charlie 9, Lima November Zulu. Good morning.
Okay, that's the one I was looking for. Okay, we'll start out with ARZ, AB9NN, and W9LON. You will turn it over to K9GU, and he'll turn it over to G1AEU.
KA9ARZ sounds like a start there. Do a quick reset, make sure it's not doubling. K9ARZ returning. on this final Friday in January there. So, yeah, after I got back from the fitness class, had the frequency on, heard Bob and Tom chatting there. So, yeah, so could have a, Bob, net control from Florida as I'm heading off there via ECHOLINK there. So hope you have a nice travel down there and back. Yeah, there's oodles of flights that head down there this time of year. Various airports, for example, offering nonstop flights to Orlando and other places of note there. So won't be traveling that far today. Have a full day of work. Getting ready to get started on that. Basketball game tonight in Sebastopol there. Fortunately, the temperature has been hovering around the freezing mark. Actually, almost could be a Joan outside car wash day. But, the intensity of the rain isn't all that much. It's, kind of a light rain coming down, but in the liquid form as opposed to the icy variety that would, basically make driving around a little bit challenging there. So, today don't have to be worried about being stuck at home because of freezing rain or icy roads there. In the past was able to, get to work, in 2008 when we had the real bad amounts of snow, was able to walk to work there. So, we will get there on time. So, let's see how things are weather-wise and otherwise on the other side of the lake with AB9NN from K90RZ. Good morning.
Hi, good morning to everybody on the Good Morning Net from John, AB9NN in beleaguered northwest Florida, Michigan. Straight across Lake Michigan from Algoma, 9 miles inland. And, rain just about covering the bulk of the lower peninsula of Michigan and also northeastern Wisconsin and southern central Wisconsin. Looks like on the regional radar map, so interesting there. As far as weather is concerned, I think probably about one day is probably about the max that we've had to hunker down. Every once in a while, if there's a nasty storm and it looks dangerous, we won't go into church into Traverse City, which is about a 32-mile drive one way. And the roads can be not plowed all the time, so we opt for safety in those instances, but that's been about it as far as that's concerned. We have had multiple days of power outages where we've had to take shelter in our relative's house, so that's been interesting. Temperature currently is 35.5 degrees with a north wind, and solar reflex index is down to 161. Yesterday I went to the hardware store and picked up some new brighter light bulbs for my ham shack in the basement, and so I've got a much lighter desk area, which is nice, and hope to be able to utilize that in the near future. Not much else going on, so with that, back to net control from AB9NN, John and Beulah. Have a great day, everyone.
LON, it's your turn.
Good morning, W9LON. Good morning to the group. Just having a nice, wet, rainy day at home, waiting for the grandkids to come over. Don't remember a time when we were really stuck at home with snow till morning time, except maybe back in the late 80s, early 90s in Green Bay. So, all right, we'll turn it over to Michelle at DU. This is W9LON.
Thank you. Returning for me. This is Killer NGU and Apple on I want to shoot you anyway. If I'm all right, this is Goodmorning in Appleton, and where the temperature is 36, the barometric pressure 30, that smell like 30, the humidity 100% outside, and the wind is 6 miles per hour, and the whole thing is overcast once again in here, and a little hazy also at the same time. I don't see any rain actively, but things just look a little wet outside on the roads in here. We don't have any big floods, but I think our sun is going to come back again this morning to see us. I don't know exactly what time that he has first to perform his own work in here, his own so he will, he'll be busy most part of the day in here, so that's about all I have to mention right now. And I think I would set it to KNINDHD at the same time. Net control, this is 290. Good morning to all.
G1AEU, your turn, sir. And turn it over to WAR.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Michelle. Well, good morning to everybody on that net. I see things are slow up there, but it mainly raining, I believe, in the Gulf County. Well, here it is 55. It's what a beautiful day, really. Nice, sunny, and warm. Only some miles an hour wind, 61% humidity, and 30.5 on the barometer. Now, Michelle, I wasn't on the television yesterday. I didn't realize it was as big as it was. If it would be spacious, I would have did something. What a murder, untold murder that I was watching. And geez, I don't normally watch it, but when I saw Appleton, I thought, oh, that's Appleton with something, and I thought to myself, I did my duty. Well, I've been touched many times when I've been working, and I won't into all that. But what happened yesterday, I don't know. I was shown up to visitor. I had a job getting back on again. I eventually made it back on again, but the next was so right, that was shown by that time I got back on. Anyway, okay, so Casey died with the Alpha Romeo. So, over to RT, G1AU.
Okay, so that's one go for you?
What are we going to do if it says I have something here comments on?
Okay, I'll call you again. So, we'll send it over to WAR, OBB, KMA, OSF, KB9, UPE, AG9P, KD9GDA, just listening, and KE9 or KC9LN Zulu to finish it up. Go ahead, Artie.
Thank you, Bob, and good morning, everyone. This is Kilo Alpha Niner, Whiskey Alpha Romeo. Here in Mexico, 38 degrees and overcast. And as far as the question goes, I do not remember much of my early years. I grew up in New York State where we had a lot of snow off of Lake Erie, and probably as as much snow as we got here in Wisconsin in the early days. But I do remember yesterday we went to lunch and had a real good lunch with the elderly help there for $5 and had the pulled pork sandwich. And nowadays the waitresses got a small computer on her head, and our meal was at our table in 3 or 4 minutes. So it's quite a difference from the old days. Afterwards, I got home and called the person who takes care of my sewer. It was plugged up to a certain extent, and he came and took care of it. And afterwards, I asked him, would you like to come and look at my radio setup? So we came up to the radio room here, and he watched me make a few station contacts, and you never know, maybe the demonstration might help, but maybe we might get a new amateur with the demonstration. Whiskey 9, Oscar Bravo Bravo. This is Kilo Alpha Niner, Wisconsin Amateur Radio. Good morning, Rick.
This is W9OBE, and good morning to all on the Good Morning Net here on a rainy morning here on the west side of Green Bay. And not too much to report. Coming up on the weekend again, so I got to start planning for my upcoming ham cram that'll be held in Green Bay. Well, actually just here at St. Norbert. And but that's not going to be until April, but I want to make sure I got all my slide presentations and things in order, and then we also have to take an ad out in the local Press Times newspaper here. So we'll get that stuff put together. And other club duties to perform, and just a reminder, Monday night at 7 o'clock is the Zoom meeting for the club. And I have Larry, N9OSF, next. I think that's correct. Larry, N9OSF, W9OBB. MA goes next, and then OSF.
Bob and Rick, I'm going to go back to you. I bet you misspoke. Maybe you're having an officer meeting tonight, and the club Zoom is Monday. Roger, Roger, back to Rick.
Yeah, didn't I say Monday? I thought I said Monday, but perhaps I didn't. It's early in the morning yet. Okay, back to Joan. Thanks for catching that. 89 KMA. Monday evening at 7.
We'll be there with bells on. KC9 KMA. Here it is raining, and Kevin, you'll be driving soon, and you know the areas that are slippery. The backyard has a little bit of accumulation of something on branches. It isn't exactly ice, but I don't know what it is. And the front yard has nothing, so maybe you will be lucky the whole way to work. But here, the 24-hour total is 0.22 inches of rain. So we're happy not to shovel, and we're happy for my neighbor with the broken leg that his wife doesn't have to shovel. So that's the good news there. I got to tell you, Bob, it brought back the memory, and if Larry were here, he would tell us. In 1978, I was in graduate school living in an apartment in Chicago, the actual city of Chicago, and we had the blizzard, and it may be not 78, but someone will tell me. And it took over a week for the trash truck to get through our side street so we could drive in the rut. And the drifting was 4 feet tall, and the actual snowfall was, 2 feet in the roads. I mean, it was nuts. It was nuts. I had a Toyota. So, yeah, a little Corolla. Remember when they were little? This thing was never going to move, and it was up over the roof in the driveway. Just nuts. So eventually we got snow shoveled, plowed out to the street, and person shoveled his or her own space, and this is the time of year where the famous lawn chair with a broom would be applied, because someone would take your place. Not so much in my neighborhood, but in the farther into the city, this was a very common practice. So thanks for that memory. It was crazy. And then you remember that the current mayor at the time, Jane Byrne, lost the election. Anyway, the other mayor lost the election because of the snow, and so there you have that. Anyway, keeping in the winter theme, my big event yesterday, for the first time in 20 years, I went and bought a pair of snow boots. And I have sticker shock, but these are toasty warm, and I haven't given them a trial on slushy snow, but I am weirdly going to go do that in the cul-de-sac, because I have a feeling I will be sure-footed behind a snowblower when the need arises. So there you go. Good morning, everybody. Over to Larry. Larry number 2 or 3. It just depends on the day. Good morning, N9OSF. KC9. Oops, I timed out, Larry.
Yeah, whatever. Here, first I say I'll start over. Like the doors, up here is gloomy day, 50, 35 degrees. And that is micro-station at a girlfriend place right now. Here's up there. I will just talk about it later. So otherwise, 35 degrees next week. And otherwise, and for snow days, so even when I was self-employed and all that, maybe I was once stayed at home for a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, when I got going. People wanted it to come over. It's supposed to be an empty summer event, but with the cold weather and the cold, everybody had panicked a little bit. People wanted to do it right away. Like they had it up for a week, couple of weeks ago, so like some snow comes, there was a lot of snow, everybody wants to go. So anyway, otherwise today, got plans with my stepdaughter, and we're having dinner over there. Maybe roughly about a drive, and we're going out with kids with my stepdaughter. And so otherwise that's practice that way. So otherwise that's the plan today, and work around the house. There's always something to do, organizing stuff and putting stuff away, and like I said before, it's many times that what do you save and what do you toss out? I save enough to toss out, and you don't have time to. So otherwise, that's what I got planned for today. And a little bit of history. On this day, January 26th, 1979. Dukes of Hazzard. Here's some pop culture hits. You might all remember that. So otherwise, not much more to add. So I think the normal is and then I said, oh my God, that's good.
Can't really remember too much about how long I might have been cooped inside due to weather. Just thinking about it, I remember one time even I learned something. If you're going to be along the water, in Wisconsin in winter, don't rent a house facing north or west with the wind. And unfortunately for me, I was a student, so I didn't at the time, so I didn't have to get out, but I faced north and west, and the snow blew in, and when I fell out of the car, when I got there, and fortunately a friend came along and said, no, I'll come with me, and we'll get the snowblower fixed, and I'll come with you, you don't want to do all this. And we got out there, and the snow was up my eaves trough, blew in up to the eaves trough. So I could even move the next day that time because he came along with that blower and I'd knock it down and he'd blow it out. But anyways, just, you know, I lived in the city most of the time, so you could move anyway if you really wanted to. I preferred not to. So not much from here this morning. We will get ready here and turn it over to AG9P Damien. Good morning, Damien. That's over to you, KD9UPE.
AG9P O'Connell. Yeah, 1947 or 1948 in Milwaukee, a huge snowstorm, and down at the train station they had plows running in circles, and even they got stuck, and no plow could take the streets in Milwaukee. The city hired teams to shovel a path down the street. We lived on Highland Avenue, which was Highway 16 and 18. But they had to shovel Milwaukee by hand in 48 to 47. Then in 1968 or 1969 in Japan, we had so much snow. The base I was on Hokkaido Island had 400 tanks. Some of them had huge treads just for the snow. So the military sent a tank to take me to work. And eventually they plowed the roads with bulldozers. And then the problem was there was no place to park. If you ever drove your car to get some groceries or something, so I can remember we would take a wagon and walk to the grocery stores or the BXs or whatever. I don't know how long I've been talking here. Let's cut it short up. I lost my wedding ring on Saturday in a giant dumpster for recycling, and Sunday we had the city come out and open the dump, and we tried to find it. Anyway, last night I showed Cynthia 100 different wedding rings on the screen. She picked out one, and we bought 3 of them because we didn't know the size of my finger anymore, and they were 83 cents a piece. AG9P over to LN Zulu.
Morning, sir. KC9, LN Zulu. Well, it's raining here in Kiwani, so the snow is starting to melt away. A couple of patches in the yard starting to show the brown grass underneath. And the driveway is basically just wet as well as the street. So it'll be an interesting day to say the least. We'll see how it works out with all the snow piled up everywhere. As far as being inside the house, well, now that I'm retired, yeah, that happened. Last week when we had that big snowstorm that happened and nobody was going anywhere, I just stayed in the house or was outside snow throwing, so that's about it for that. But I remember growing up as a kid, the one time me and my 3 brothers were the only ones going to school at the time, walked all the way to school through the snow, and it was heavy. We had the long boots on and everything. And we got to school, and the Catholic nun came out to the front door and said, "What are you guys doing here? The school was closed earlier." So we turned around and didn't mind the walk back home at all because we didn't have school that day. I'm sure our mother wasn't too happy, but I'm sure she had a smile on her face when we all showed back up at home and just being with the big smiles on our face. So that's the only one story I got for you today, but other than that, hey, everybody take care. Drive carefully out there. Be careful. KC9, LN Zulu. Good morning to all. And I believe it goes back to that control. Take it, Bob.
Yes, indeed. And I see W9DGE is on the board. And we'll take him, and then you turn it over to K9G, or G1AEU. G1AEU. Zach said he would take a second go, so I guess not. We'll send it to G1AEU then, and then back to me after that.
G1AEU. Well, yes, all right. Now I see Jack is down near Chicago. That is true today. Anyway, he might only be listening. He may not be able to come in. So, I have a story. I don't know, I have said before, we don't just go here. We just don't go here once every 10 years or so. But in parts of the country, and higher ground, particularly near Dartmoor, they do get a lot of snow. A colleague of mine, in the first of it, was caught up with an handover from extra in Devon, because the local station couldn't make it through the snow. So he then, it was a chimney bar. So he went his handover, and the two men to the place, a Gordon Hampstead, where the farm was. So that was about 15 miles away, but he never got anywhere near the farm. And he come out his radio, and he said to us, no, I am not going any further tonight in the weather. We are sending the night in the front. He died. So back to you, Bob. So far, maybe Bob.
Okay, thank you for the comments. Anybody else would like to check into the net today? Anybody else wants to check in? Please come now.
Whiskey Niner, Whiskey Tango Zulu.
W9WTZ. Yeah, you weren't out in that area back in the days when I was younger. Go ahead, Larry.
Good morning, Bob and company, W9WTZ. Well, I'm sitting here kind of chuckling because I think at this point in life I stay home more voluntarily than any storm could keep me. And this last stretch of snow and cold, I didn't go past the mailbox for 6 days, and I was loving it. But I do remember I'll be here 30 years in April, and we had an early spring ice storm. Took the power out for 36 hours. That's the longest I was ever without power. And I was running the generator because I've always had outside water fountains for big animals. And if those buggers freeze up, the next thing you know, you're building a tent and doing plumbing out in the weather. So that one kept me home. Good morning to everyone. Back to net control.
Okay, well, I'm going to put a few comments in there. I remember in the later 60s, between Christmas and New Year's, we were not able to get out anywhere for 4 days, I think 4 or 5 days, and it was quite an experience. This was, Larry, you know where Prowl Road is, but just before Lambrecht's there used to be a pretty good-sized hill on both sides of the road that they did a nice big cut. Well, we would sit at the window and watch the snowplow try and bust through the snow pile there. It was so high, all you could see was the little light on top. And so they'd start at the corner and rev her up as high as they could get. These are 40s vintage snowplows. and they'd hit the snow pile, and they'd stop and back up, and after about 4 tries, I remember they made it through. But it was a nasty spot, and quite a few years later they did change that all out. And I remember in Green Bay in the early 80s, I think it was, when we had some pretty good flooding that was going on. A friend of mine could not make it home because the water was over a foot deep, and he had a small car, and the water would have ran right in the car. So those are my 2 experiences. And I guess I have nothing else. Anybody else want to check in? One more call for any late check-ins. W9DGE is still on the board, but he's not doing any responding, so I'm going to close this net at 8:36. I guess a little bit shorter than some people run it, but that's all right. We had a good check-in. So, if there's no other comments and no more check-ins, I will close it at 8:36 in the morning here. Good morning all, and hopefully you all have a wonderful day out. We're going shopping.